Okay, welcome to Ampocalypse with me, Damian FitzGerald. Today's guest is the fantastic Amanda Lyberg, vocalist of the incredible band Eva Under Fire. So, first of all, how are you? And I love the little heart sign. That's the
This is
first time
so
I've had it.
fun. This is so fun. I'm great. I'm busy. I'm very busy, which so thank you for helping me be busy and inviting me to come out and chat with you. That's part of what we've worked on the last 2 years. We've been, writing this brand new album, Villainous, and it seemed like we were just gridlocked for a million years while we were working on the record. So now we're ramping up and getting busy and shows and podcasts and every other thing else. So it's time. It's time. It's happening.
It's time, but it's all well worth it. Now,
Yes.
obviously, you've already mentioned Villainous is on the horizon, so we'll be taking a journey behind the record, the stories woven into the songs, collaboration, of course, with Maria Brink in this moment, and of course, how your unique background has helped shape both the songwriting and Eva Under Fire itself.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, we're going to have a bit of fun because this show is called Ampocalypse. I will be throwing you into your very own apocalyptic situation to see how you survive.
Here we go.
It'll
Probably
be
hold up in
fun.
someone else's backpack, but that's all right.
You'll be fantastic. So, Amanda, welcome to your Ampocalypse. So,
Wonderful.
first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. It feels like Eva Under Fire are entering a really exciting new chapter. So, how's life been recently in the lead up to the release?
The energy is felt. All of us feel it. So my guys and I have been jamming in this project for 10 years, and it all feels like it's culminated to this moment, which is very exciting for everybody. And the suits at the label feel it, management feels it. Everybody's kind of come to this massive sort of precipice. It really feels like this album has accurately depicted us coming into our own. And that's
Cool.
why, in my brain, it's a concept album that's all about the villain character arc and what it took to kind of get to this place. So very exciting stuff. So you're accurate in your description that we're it's a whole new era.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I picked up on that listening to the record. Then it's the first time I've interpreted it the way I think the artist has as well. Now, at what point during the writing and recording process did you start to feel that this album really was something special?
It was pretty right off rip, to be honest with you. Like the first time that we were in studio working on new songs, we were in LA and we were working with John London, and collectively it was myself and Chris and Rob in the studio. And Chris, we have a very new metal background. And that's kind of he always likes this like new metal bouncy kind of heavy riffs, right? Like think Corn, and big inspiration for him is Deftones. So he's always got like this bounce, this groove. So he played us a riff which eventually became My Own Name, the song on the album My Own Name. He played a riff and we were like, yeah, yeah, that's great. And then John said, well, why don't you play on this guitar? And he handed him some sort of like crazy drop B, like wildly low guitar that we've never played in before, a tuning we've never played in before. It was like Spirit Box. I was like, this is crazy, but it also sounded so sick. So we were like, well, we gotta try this. So and the first two songs that came out of that were My Own Name and The Words You Say. And we were so excited. We hit up A&R at the label immediately. We were like, we have to come back here. This is gonna be the tone for the whole new album. And that's what we did.
Nice. Now, the title Villainous does immediately grab your attention, and you sort of touched on this, but can you go into a bit more detail what the title actually represents and why it felt so right for the title of this album? Of course, one of the songs is titled that, of course, but
Yeah, yeah. So it became this, the song came first, and then we decided that that was kind of the capstone idea for the entire album. I think the reason for that was when I looked at all of the lyrical content and the themes that were sort of woven through all of the songs. It sort of, to me, gave a like a whole journey of like what it would take to really come into your best version of yourself, right? And I had personally been through a lot. The guys had all personally been through a lot. So I think it was just kind of like taking a look at all the songs that we had turned in, and I wanted something that was like, what captures this entire work? And it was Villainous. I was like, well, that's the story, you know. This is how you become the villain. This is how you become. But it was interesting to me because it wasn't how I become the villain in the way that villain is really described. It was like becoming okay with being the villain in someone else's story as long as you got your own back. You know what I mean? Like that's like I wanted to take ownership of that because I feel like too many people are very afraid of just, you know, somebody calling them out on something that they didn't like, or, you know, all that just creates unnecessary anxiety in my brain, right? I'm like, look, if I did something that I'm okay with and I needed to in that moment look out for myself, and that means that I was the villain in someone else's story, maybe I don't have to apologize for that. And so that was kind of what was, you know, all of these different themes and these different songs, they all explore a different part of that journey.
Cool. Now, looking across the record as a whole, how do you feel it differs from Love, Drugs and Misery, which literally sounds like the title of my early 20s, if I'm being honest?
That was intentional as well. Because it was, right? So, like, my parents' generation was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you know, like 80s crazy stuff, right? But then I think the generation after that, which, you know, was my new metal sort of era, right? It definitely was Love, Drugs, and Misery, right? Like, that's the fallout, right? But I don't think we got to explore a lot of our personal experience on that album. Certainly with a few of the songs, it did so with Comatose and Heroin, and, you know, Blow was much more of like a take your brain out, kind of have fun with it, you know, explore this like, you know, sass kind of side of myself. Not that it felt disingenuous, but it didn't feel like the whole picture, you know. And so I think that was because we were just listening to a lot more of the people in the room saying, you know, well, this is your first major release. It's got to go like this, you know. This is how you do it when you're in the industry, you know. I think we just listened to too many people, you know. And so this album, it was very important for us to be like, no, we don't want to do that, you know. We're gonna listen to ourselves this time. We're gonna tell our story as we see it and as we experienced it. And so I think it got a lot more real on this record, and that's why it's less encouraging and, you know, super shiny, you know. It's kind of like, nah, this is we ripped the gloves off and we kind of talk about the real grit behind what we felt. It's not as encouraging. It's not as everything's gonna be okay. You know, there's an album track that says, "Don't say, you know, don't say I'm okay." I'm sick of hearing it, you know. So we really wanted to explore the raw emotions on this record. I think we did that a lot. I think we did that on like every song this album.
Yeah. I'd say from everything I've listened to, it's definitely shone through. Sorry, and I do love the fact that you've said, you know, we wanted to do it our way. We're not trying to fit a mold, essentially. Because that's where the best music comes from, when a band writes for themselves, not their audience. I personally find, because then you find your audience. Now, at the time of recording this interview, the album isn't out yet, but this interview will be going out, I think, on the day of the release, which is, I love coordinating like that. It makes me feel like I've done my job right. Every album, though, marks a moment in a band's journey. So now I say now Villainous is out in the world, projecting slightly ahead. Yeah. When fans reach the final track, what do you hope they've learnt about Eva Under Fire, or perhaps they didn't know before?
When you get to the final track, I think most listeners are going to be like, I didn't know Eva Under Fire could go that hard. It's like the last track on the album is called A Violent End, and that's, you know, that's for a reason. It's meant to be sort of like this earth-shattering moment where you realize that things don't always turn out okay. And my response to that was a violent end, right? it also just makes sense to start the album with a song like Awakening and then close with a song called A Violent End. It's just, that's the perfect bookend, right? For me. But I think that once you become the villain and you get very angry at all of the things that are wrong with the world, especially when the wrong things um, like implicate young people that are very impressionable. I have a very protective nature when it comes to, you know, um, vulnerable individuals, particularly young, vulnerable individuals. And so I had basically where the song came from was I watched a Netflix series that I should not have, and I got very mad. And I think what was it called? It was Quiet on Set.
I'm going to
And
make a
it
note and
was
watch it, and hopefully I've got it in the UK.
it was just it's basically how Hollywood takes these child stars and treats them, right? And some of those child stars have horrific, most of them actually have horrific experiences they've met several adults that have taken advantage of the situation, whether that's for money or for, pimping these kids out, right? Like ugh, I just, I couldn't watch that and not have a very visceral reaction. And so I wished those individuals a violent end.
That's fair. I'm trying to remember the name of the actress now. The girl that played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, but she was treated horrifically. It's really bad that I can't remember her name.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, majorly famous person, right? And I'm same. I never know
yeah,
who it's by or what it's called,
don't
but
worry.
that kind of story, right? That kind of story, yes.
Yeah,
I think that's what I love so much about rock music. I think that's what I love so much about rock culture and the listeners of this genre. They protect each other. They protect misfits. They protect young people. Um, there's even the saying, right? Like, what happens when somebody falls in the pit? You pick them up, right? And that's
yeah,
like a microcosm of what most maybe other people that are outsiders would think is like a violent experience, and it's not. It's people freaking out together in a way that's like expressive, right? Um, so I think that if there was anywhere to tackle that kind of emotion, it's on a pretty heavy rock album.
I would agree with that. And I do love the way you've pointed out how the community does look after them, look after its own essentially, as well as everyone else. I don't know if you know about this one, but there was a young lady called Sophie Lancaster in the UK that was murdered just because of her link to rock. If you ever get a chance, look into the story. There's a huge charity on it, and it sort of shone the light on discrimination against people's personal tastes more than just, oh, you're black, you're white, you're Asian, and things like that, or you've got red hair. It was very different.
Yeah, it's like what you're
Uh,
into, right? And
yeah,
that's just something that somebody should feel safe to participate in.
exactly.
And that's terrifying. So thank you for letting me know, illuminating that for me.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would recommend it, and I hope it doesn't like send you into mode
Right.
because it did to me.
It's actually kind of relevant to my personal experience though. So like I right now I have on a Metallica shirt, Master of Puppets, right? And yes, I never felt cool enough for rock music when I was a young kid. And I was very nervous to wear band t-shirts because it would indicate my preference. And I didn't know if I wanted people to know that because I was afraid of being not cool enough. I was afraid of being questioned, right? Like, what album did you listen to most and what kind of song, like what name
Name
five
three
songs,
songs.
those guys,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like I can't for me I'd lock up, right? First of all, I'll know every single word. I've covered four Metallica songs like over the course of my career, and like I can't tell you names of albums and the whole like the discography just never sank in for me. So I think it's important what you're saying about this woman's story, and how devastating it is because people should just feel like they can just participate in whatever they like, and that's fine. And you don't have to prove it to somebody else, right? You don't have to, right? If that makes me a villain because I can't name five songs off of the band, the t-shirt I'm wearing, like for me, I'm kind of like, you can think what you want. I've covered four separate Metallica songs. Like I get to wear this t-shirt, right? And like I kind of just want to shoulder people that feel like that's not sufficient. Um, but I mean, the hope is definitely that everybody can feel cool enough and everybody can be welcome. And if you're not educated on something that you feel like is important to you, look it up, ask a friend. Like, it should be a conversation piece, you know, not something we judge each other about.
Exactly. Now, we went on a huge tangent there. That was just fantastic. I love it when this happens. But when you were writing about, you know, emotionally difficult subjects, did you find yourself sort of revealing experiences, or did that come through? Does that songwriting become a way of? I'm getting tongue twisted. I'm going to try and start that question again. So when you were writing about emotionally difficult subjects, do you ever find yourself reliving those experiences, or does songwriting actually become a way, you know, of leveling them behind or leaving them behind?
I think that's kind of this. I think it's the second one for me, mostly. I think that when I'm writing about something that I feel very strongly about, it's cathartic more than anything. So it becomes kind of like journaling for me. So I think in handing the world Villainous as an album, that's kind of like me ripping pages out of my journal. And I can almost say that about every song on this album. Truly, I couldn't do that on our previous record, but this one for sure, because I think I'm just exploring it in a way that feels very honest to me. But I don't think I relive it in a bad way or in any kind of negative way. I definitely think it's more like I'm getting it out and processing things.
So it's become a strength, essentially.
Yeah.
So let's move on to working with Maria Brink of In This Moment, and she is an incredible singer, amazing look. I mean, essentially she's a siren. So if I was sailing, I would stick earplugs in my ears and sail the other way for fear of my life.
She's beautifully threatening, right? But she's
exactly.
nothing to trifle with. You got to be careful with that one. Yeah. So that was kind of like why I was so excited to have her on a track called Villainous. That specific track, that specific artist, there's just no better mashup.
So how did that collaboration actually come together, just out of interest?
Sure. It was actually something that I feel like the Suits coordinated really, really well. Like, they kind of introduced us. Introduced officially. I've been an In This Moment fan for years, right? Maria Brink has been like a muse of mine, right? So it was really exciting when I figured out that we like shared management. And that was years ago. So I was kind of, I've had this in my mind trying to like manifest it for a while of like, we've got to be able to work together on something eventually, right? We share some of the same team. Hopefully it can work out, right? So fast forward to writing this album, and now A&R is talking about what the single's going to be. And I'm like, could we maybe ask and see if she would be down? I was said, like, it's one of the biggest songs that's probably going to be, that's going to be the song that gets the biggest push, right, is Villainous. But also, thematically, I felt like it was just such a great fit, right? And I mean, I was in the RV with the guys on tour with Butcher Babies when we first, like earlier in the spring, when we first heard Maria's takes on Villainous as like those screams. I went feral. I don't know what happened to me, but something happened to me in that moment. And all of the guys like jaw dropped. They were like, this is it. No notes. Print it now. This has to be the version that gets out to the world. And it is. And I'm so proud of it. And then she was super kind and like also Instagram messaged me and was super excited about the song and being a part of the music video. If you haven't seen if any of your listeners have not seen the music video, like they need to see her in the music video. She is like Empress, and I am her dark soldier, willingly.
The music video is incredible. I'm not gonna lie. I did watch that, and I completely forgot about her being in it until this moment. Actually,
yeah. I think she only collaborated on like one other band. Like when she did a feature, she had only ever been in like one other band's music video, and so like this is kind of like a cool special thing. So it was really, really. I was just so thrilled that she was so excited about it, and it's the perfect fit, I think.
Cool. Now, I think you've pretty much answered my next question. What was it like hearing her contribution for the first time? So, let's move on to what did working with Maria influence you creatively in any unexpected ways?
I feel like more so being a fan of In This Moment has been like a something I keep in mind when I'm in the studio. Um, Seeing other women in rock music who are very fierce and not to be trifled with, just that does something to my heart. You know what I mean? Like I think of those women and their massive careers and how it's been such an inspiration to me when I'm tracking, specifically when I'm trying to like push myself out of my comfort zone or, get in the headspace or like challenge myself to say something that's like, very true for me, but might be very vulnerable or very, tackling difficult topics. Um, I think about, the legacy that is Evanescence and Hailstorm and In This Moment. That's my top three, right? So like when I wrote the album Villainous, I definitely had those women in mind. So to be able to collaborate with Maria was pretty full circle.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing. Speaking of Evanescence as well, they're doing this huge comeback, or it feels like a huge comeback.
Dude, new metal is back as a
I
genre.
know.
And like Evanescence releasing new music, just please don't stop, but also full stop. What? This is my childhood coming back to me. And I have to also tell you that right here in Michigan, we were able to open for the biggest show for me personally ever. There was a Soaring Eagle casino performance. It was In This Moment, Hailstorm, Evanescence. And our manager got us to like open for 20 minutes at the last second, like
yeah.
dropping the hat, like we were able to show up. So now
Cool.
I've met Maria prior to us doing Villainous together. She like sent a rose to our green room. It was so sweet. And I have a selfie now with myself and Lizzie and Amy. And I'm still not okay.
To be fair, that's kind of my significant other's reaction when she met Lizzie. She's like absolute massive fan, and I tell this story whenever I can. Her engagement ring has Lizzie Hale's guitar string in it, so meeting her was the best. I was sat there just going, I've done myself dirty. I'm always trying to outdo presents for her, and now I've ruined it for myself.
I was just going to say, good job.
Well, I mean, it's good, but at the same time, how am I going to top it? This is my big thing.
It's a
But
good
you are
problem.
right. It's fantastic. We're seeing all these fantastic bands make a resurgence. Now, I want to sort of, if it's okay, dive into your background a little bit because it's fascinating, psychology and therapy. And I never thought I would sort of be, I suppose, doing an unofficial therapy session with a rock star. Which isn't something, you don't come across this every day in rock music. How has that experience influenced, the way you approach Eva Under Fire, both creatively and a band?
Yeah. I think it's more exploring all of the different parts of self that has influenced both of those career tracks, right? So, like, me as a human, I wanted to have a career where I could have real conversations with real people about real things that matter. So that was my okay, cool, I can do that if I'm like a singer using my talents in that way. And like being a part of the rock show felt like a group therapy session amongst all of, right? Every single show I've ever been to, right? People, they're so expressive. And like as a listener and as a performer, I'm like, this is the genre that I need to be in. So I can do that in the rock world, or I could also do that as a therapist. And so I was like, well, let me just put effort toward both paths and see what shakes out. And then the universe laughed at me and I got both. It's a career path, which is hilarious. And I thought on the first album I was a little intimidated by this. I was like, this is going to have ethical dilemmas. I should probably separate and be Eva in the music world and Amanda in the therapy world, and we'll just keep it all very clean line. Then the universe laughed at me again and said, well, that's never a clean line. Both of those are you. All of it is you. So that was actually why I wrote the song called My Own Name. And for all of the doubters and the naysayers and the people that I have met along the path, and I think everybody that follows their dreams has those people, right? You're crazy until it works, and then all of a sudden people are on board, you know? So I think that, but it was very important for me to own the fact that my name is Amanda. Eva is a song reference. And so I wanted to own all of the different parts of me. So I think more so than how has being a therapist influenced my music career or vice versa, the more I look at it now, it's like me being the person that I am influences both of those tracks. And now everything is like one big happy family because all of my career paths are like lining up wonderfully. I got to write a mental health like segment for Loudwire. It's been really cool. Like the overlap has not been in conflict at all. If anything, they kind of serve one another, which has been a really cool thing to discover.
Yeah, I mean, I think therapy and music do complement each other in ways that people don't seem to really realise. So, yeah. Now, you've experienced both, incredible highs and some difficult personal moments throughout your life. Looking back now, what do you think has shaped you, most as both a person and an artist?
I think we're gonna get into some tough stuff here for just a moment. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it's many of our listeners understand that the song "Heroin" on our first album was about my father's addiction, and I don't think a lot of people recognize that my mom, my brother, and my father all struggled at the same moment with addiction. And when my mom and dad had used together, she came out of it and recovered, and he passed away from an overdose. So I think that I live in this world of like, that was a hugely shattering thing for me as a person. I was the oldest kid. I was the hero kid. I was the one that always wanted to do the good grades and be the spectacle and look, see, everything's fine. And then I think really in that moment, I had to confront so many things. When I lost my dad, I had to confront not just his loss, but the death of the self that I thought that I was. That hero kid was no more. Nothing is okay anymore when that happens to you. So I think that Villainous, in like discovering my villain character arc, it was like I had to be okay with being this different person. Nobody else in my life knew what to do with that, right? My family, my friends, my partner, um, you know, my husband was so supportive, but it was such a tough thing because he had lost his father also 2 years prior. So like we were grieving. There was many things that we couldn't teach each other. It was isolating, and yet we still had support. It's a very strange thing. Grief is a very strange thing. And his was devastating in a different way because he wasn't angry. I was angry, So I think that has been a hugely pivotal moment for me. And I really hadn't gotten a chance to explore everything on the first album. We wrote that album in 2019. Like 2018, 2019. And then we were supposed to release it in March of 2020 when the world shut down. So now we have these earth-shattering personal life stories and a global pandemic. So all of those themes are what we are tackling, and all of those feelings are what we are tackling on this Villainous album. I think that it was really a long time coming. And when I say that, like not just the 2 years that we were in studio, but like all of the years that we lived through those things, sort of collectively.
Yeah. I'd say thank you for sharing that because I mean that was a difficult question, so I was a bit worried about
Yeah,
asking it,
yeah.
but
No. I thank you for being the person that does the deep dive. Because I do think that again, rock music listeners respond to things that are authentic, and they need to understand just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
yeah. Now, obviously, on a different note, when fans tells you a song has genuinely helped them through a difficult period, does that ever sort of stop feeling surreal to you? Because you've got a lot of tunes that do touch people on a very personal level.
Yeah. I don't think it ever stops being surprising. I don't think it ever stops being uniquely a heartfelt experience. Um, Sometimes even when I don't know what to say to that person, because we only have like so much, time that we can really hang together, right? I just find that I grab them up again for a second extra long hug. That's the only thing that I feel like I can offer in that moment. But I think it's such a gift when someone will tell me their story because that's the group therapy part. That's why our band loves being at the rock show. The live show is where we thrive. Um, it's our own therapeutic experience when we're writing in studio together, but like being a part of live shows, it's literally what brings that energy full circle from the stage to the crowd and back again, you know?
Now, you'll be spending plenty of time on the road this year, I would imagine, and next year to support the record. So what are you most looking forward to? It's just the doing the evil finger pyramid of
I'm so
contemplation there.
excited. We're literally
It's
like getting
villainous.
ready to play like 60 shows is like
Yeah,
incredible to me. But
yeah,
yes, go ahead.
yeah. So how are you looking forward to, or what are you most looking forward to people hearing those new songs live for the first time? Because there's something quite special when a brand new song is dropped. I suppose it's almost quite terrifying for the musician. We're going to play something new for you now, and everyone out there cheers, but everyone's praying it's a good song and all of that. How are you feeling about like people hearing this? Because the record is terrific, so you don't have to worry there. Like I'm being a therapist in that situation.
I love that you've approached it this way though, because you're right. I think a lot of people might be in my position. Other artists might be nervous, right? There's like the sophomore album slump and all of these different like omens, is everybody gonna love it? I'm not nervous at all. I am I am so excited because I really think this is the energy that we are feeling. We have come into our own and it's become so obvious to so many people that I cannot wait until the world gets on board. And that only happens when we stay out there playing as many shows as humanly possible, which is what we've worked for the last, I don't know, since we've picked up a microphone, since we've picked up a guitar, it's that half our lives we've been working on this. This is the moment. This feels like the moment. Um, and we've already released a couple of songs and played a couple of shows, and so I have beta tested this to the point of like now I just get to be amazingly excited because anybody who hasn't been at those little tiny shows, once we get on these big stages, it's about to blow your mind.
Can't wait. Well, make sure. I think I can't remember if you're coming to the UK or not. I'll have to double check everything.
Okay, so we have been there once before. I would love
Yeah.
to come back. We are working on it, but I don't have anything officially planned yet. Fear not. As you so adequately pointed out, I'm over here with my little evil fingers, planning on world domination. So we will be back soon. I'm almost certain.
Can't wait to have you here. Anyway, Amanda, we have talked Villainous, the journey behind the album, and everything that's happening with Eva Under Fire. But now we're going to find out how you might cope in your very own Ampocalypse. And I had to think extra hard for this one because we all have the standard ones, and I think I'm going to go a little bit sci-fi with you. So here's the scenario. Humanity is lost. Earth no longer is habitable. The final evacuation has begun, and a fleet of enormous colony ships is preparing to leave Earth forever in search of a new home. Every ship has been placed under the command of someone capable and helping humanity rebuild. You've actually been chosen to lead one of them. I'm assuming that's a good thing, especially with your background. And of course, music has been recognised as one of the cornerstones of rebuilding civilization, and the future of humanity now rests in your hand to protect that for future generations. So, Amanda, welcome to your Ampocalypse. So, you're only going to be able to take 100 people with you, so we need to think about who gets priority. Are we thinking scientists, engineers, doctors, farmers, or any other obvious choices? But I would also say, remember, this ship is designated to protect music, so are there any other bands that you would definitely bring along, perhaps?
Ooh, this is a great question. First of
Well, I'm
all,
glad you
you
approve.
nailed setting up the scene. I think this is fantastic. If I am captain of this ship, I think, first of all, the the necessary people to rebuild, all of the logical steps go out the window. I'm an emotional artist and I'm going to take who I want. Also falls in line with the villain character arc. So I'm just going to take smart people that I know can figure it out. One of those is definitely going to be my husband. He has got to be
Oh
one of
yeah.
the smartest men that I've ever met on the face of my planet. And I'm sure he could navigate any other planet that we land on. Secondly, he is also like all of the songs that I don't know who they're by or what they're called, but I sing along to every word. He's going to know them. So
You're safe
I
wearing
know
the
we got
Metallica
that covered,
t-shirt then.
right? Yes. The other one, I feel like I have to take all of my bandmates, which includes Chris because he's the comic relief, also the eye roll, but very good songwriter. My rhythm guitar player. Dave can come. My sculptor of sound guy Jeremy, A-list. He can come. Ed is the other counterpart to Rob Brainchild. So they will figure out all of the other things that need to happen to restart. Now, as far as bands who need to be there, how many
I can
bands do I
see
get to pick?
as many as you like. I mean, I've said 100 people, but I'm not going to ask you to name
Yeah,
100
yeah,
people.
yeah.
That could get a
Okay.
bit
All right.
difficult.
So we got to go with the three that we've already listed, right? In this
Yeah.
moment, Hailstorm and Evanescence must-haves. Probably
True
Korn.
ladies of rock then.
Yes, yes. Probably Korn as well. New metal, like freaking megastars. Limp Bizkit, I'll bring them for, Fred Durst is amazing, and also Chris would hate me if I left them behind because that is some of his biggest inspiration. Let's see, Deftones for sure. Let's go with some newbies as well, like newer bands that I now have known and come to love. Currents, Wage War. Who else needs to be there? There's so many metal bands that I'm like not thinking of right now. I'm gonna fix this. Polaris, is that one of them that yes. Five Finger Death Punch because they're giving us the biggest opportunity on the face of the planet, so I can't leave them behind. And I hear that Chris is hilarious and also does stand up, so I feel like he would also be comic relief and could probably handle Chris when everybody else gets sick of him and tries to throw him overboard, and he's going to be like, no, 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 I got you. So I guess those are my top ones.
Excellent. Now, departure day has arrived. Everyone's on board except one member of Eva Under Fire who somehow managed to miss the flight. Who is that likely to be? And what ridiculous excuse do you think they've given?
So it's definitely Chris. He used to wear an Eva Under Fire onesie on stage, and we almost left him behind the one time Shiprock hit the pier, and he was in Jamaica, and we were on the boat. So this makes sense to me. If he were to miss the ship, it would be because he was standing in line for sweets. It might be because he was purchasing another guitar, which he does not need because he has like 15 of them. Or if his love of his life, Chelsea, was maybe still taking time to get ready.
And there's the catch. She looks lovely.
Yeah, yeah, come on, you. This is Murph.
Murph.
He's my metal cat.
Nice. I've got Tigger and Chewy, but I wanted to name them Vladimir Putin and Chairman Meow because they're both dictators. But I got overruled.
He's
But I have
probably
promised.
Dictator Murph, actually, yeah, because
Yeah.
of course he was clawing down my door.
Yeah, I did promise my partner at some point we can have 4 cats as long as they're called the Mogley Crew. So
Perfect. So sick.
anyway, where were we? You can only preserve 10 physical albums. We've got a library of everything digital, but what physical albums, the actual record or CD, if you prefer, must exist? Don't have to do 10. We can do 5 if that's easier.
I think so. Okay, so must be Linkin Park Hybrid Theory.
Good call.
Must be. What album is Master of Puppets on? Is it that album?
It's Master of Puppets.
It is. It is. That's
Yes.
the album title, correct? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I told you discography is like not my strong suit. Okay, so
Don't worry about
must-
it. I'm sure there's going to be a Metallica fan going, he's wrong as well.
Right. Oh, we're not doing the named five songs thing, but it's Metallica, Master of Puppets, because I have the shirt on. And that was the first Metallica song that I ever covered. So must be that album. So we've got Linkin Park Hybrid Theory, Metallica, Master of Puppets, Evanescence Fallen, Limp Bizkit, Chocolate Starfish, and the Hot Dog Flavored Water.
Good call. Can I add one to that?
Yes.
Brilliant. I'd like to add Villainous by Eva Under Fire.
Thank you,
You know
kind
it has
sir.
to be
Yes,
there.
Villainous by
You
Eva
can't
Under Fire.
take off without one of your records.
Why don't I just do that? You know what? I actually, it's great because we just got the vinyl delivered the other day. So I'll keep one of those and take it on the ship with me.
Epic. Now, you've actually got one spare seat. So one musician, living or dead. So we've resurrected someone potentially. Who's getting that ticket?
Oh, one spare ticket. Musician, living or dead. Prince.
Good call. I think that'll be an interesting conversation with that guy.
Legendary. And my husband would never forgive me if I didn't shout out the skills that guy has on the guitar. I mean, the performance that I think of that he talks about all the time is like the Super Bowl performance where it was just perfect and he was playing the guitar and it just so cinematic. So we will save Prince for that performance alone.
Excellent. Now, of course, there's luxuries as well, and cargo space is limited. But, you know, you're the captain. What 3 luxuries are you bringing that make the cut that no one else is allowed? But, you know, you're ruling with an iron fist here.
There has to be a swimming pool.
Ooh, going big.
Yep, swimming pool.
Right.
For sure.
So now we're down to 80 people now because, you know, some rooms have been bulldozed. But that's fine, you're in charge.
I mean, it could be a splash pad. I basically have a little inflatable one in my backyard right now. So maybe it's my inflatable swimming pool.
We're going with a full Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Oh, full Olympic size. Okay, all right then. Well, then yeah, we got to kick a few people off. Okay, so swimming pool, for sure. What other luxury item do I need? I feel like a really cool car. Some kind of really cool luxury vehicle. Maybe it's an F-150, like a big truck of some kind. Maybe it's a Raptor, like a big fancy Ford Raptor, because, you know, who doesn't want a fancy pants truck on this new excursion to some new planet where we need big boy tires to explore things? And maybe like a box of like goldfish crackers, because that's my go-to tour snack.
I love it. It's gone from swimming pool to goldfish crackers.
Shout out Pepperidge Farm. This is my personality, Damien. I'm so sorry, but like this is who I am as a human. I'm like all of this fancy and also goldfish crackers, because why not?
Epic. Now, of course, you have now landed. What's the first thing you're building? Are you going for a shelter, hospital, school, or perhaps a music venue?
Oh.
Why are you choosing this particular build first?
Oh. You know what? I'm gonna go with my little humanitarian therapist brain and say that it's going to be some sort of structure that has all of those things. There's gonna be like a wing for a couple of cots and like a medic unit, but also down the hallway is going to be like a small stage for like music therapy type of thing. Also to display my hard copy albums that we have come to the new world with us, right? There's probably going to be a coffee shop in some sort of main foyer area. And we'll put my pool out back.
Cool. I would just say, way to go in figuring out a way to circumvent the question and get everything all in one. What a genius.
I can't. But it's in my mind, it's like a plaza, right? A plaza day Eva Under Fire.
Yeah. Now, the crew can't agree on the name of humanity's new home, but you're in charge, so you're going to get to overrule everyone. What are you calling the new planet?
Ooh, the new planet. All right, I get to veto who the planet, what the planet is named. Okay.
Yeah. So you get to name it whatever you
You know
want.
what? We're gonna name it after my other cat. This is gonna the new planet is called Minion.
Minion. Oh, I
I love
like
that
that.
cat. She's my little minion of darkness. I love her so much.
That is
You met Murph, but we're gonna name it after Minion.
cool. Now, humanity has finally found a new home. The first cities have been built, the first generation born on the new world has all grown up, and now it's time for the very first music festival on another planet. Eva Under Fire are headlining, and yes, I know there's some issue with the fact that a whole generation has grown up, but yet you guys are still here. But we're going to circumvent that continuity.
This is sci-fi,
error.
right? We figured out how to
Exactly,
insert
it's
ourselves.
sci-fi.
Totally.
So, what song are you opening up the set with, and what do you say to the crowd before playing the very first note?
This is for the journey here. To put our past behind us and discover self and a new home.
Beautiful.
And I think we go into Villainous.
Perfect.
Because it's the
Because
villainous
obviously
character
Maria's
arc.
still with
That's
us.
like the journey represents the journey of the album. Perfect.
Wonderful. Well, Amanda, I want to thank you so much for joining me on Ampocalypse today. It's been fantastic talking to you about Villainous, hearing the stories behind the album, and actually finding out how you're going to lead humanity into the next chapter. The fact that you've discarded like 20 people for your swimming pool is by the by. You know, you're a benevolent leader to those that obey you. Let's just say that.
It wouldn't be a villainous character arc without just chopping up a few spaces for a pool.
Wonderful. Well, hopefully I'll be there on Planet Minion with you. So I hope I get a space and I've not been
Yeah, your
ejected
space is
for the pool.
you're not one of the seats that we're gonna throw to the swimming pool. You belong in the cockpit with the rest of us trying to steer the ship because it was your brain that got us here. So there you are. Thank you so
Perfect.
much for having me. Thank you for all of
Amanda.
the cool imagery. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you.